Hi, so this is the first task, line in perspective, part of a series of lectures and tasks produced by College Cigar. So what we're going to do is to look at the process of trying to capture the illusion of a three-dimensional object onto a two-dimensional plane. This is the fundamentals of objective drawing. Also, secondly, this will help us with the process of trying to capture our ideas in a 3D form on a two-dimensional page, which will be an exercise to follow. Okay, so linear perspective. Let's start with 1 point, and then move on to 2-point perspective, and then 3-point perspective. So, 1-point perspective. What is it? So, let's start by drawing a cube. Okay, so to create that into a 1-point perspective, we need to put a point here. I'm going to put quite a large cross so you can see it on the camera. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw parallel lines to that cross. We could use a ruler, but I think it's good practice. See if we can do it freehand. Okay. So all these points are going to that vanishing point. And this is the fundamentals of this process. We're trying to capture or make things appear to be bigger when they're nearer toward us, and when they're further away they become sort of smaller. It's very much so if you standing in a landscape and you're looking at a railway line, it seems to sort of vanish to a single point. We know in reality they never meet, but that's the illusion. Okay, so that's 1-point perspective. So let's try 2-point perspective, and we're going to do more of this in a little while to embed the idea. So we want 2 points, a couple of crosses there. You could just do a little dot, and then we want a vertical line. Okay, so like the previous one, we're throwing these parallel lines to that point. But what we're doing here is this side, we're going to this point. I quite often do a ghost sort of run to get a feel for it. Okay. And put the vertical lines in there. And then that point goes to that cross. And that one goes to that. So again, this is 2-point perspective, because we've got 2 vanishing points. Okay, 3-point perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a cross up here, that one in line with it, and then we're going to put one down here. Then we're going to put one vertical line just in the middle of the page there. So again, repeat the process similar to 2-point perspective. We're throwing that line there to there, and that to there. But this line, because we're coming down to this point here, you can see it's a slight acute angle. Going to there, and we're going to there, and we're going to there. There, and there. So you can see this sort of cuboid form is 3D. So that's 3-point perspective. Okay, so let's embed this 2-point perspective. So in the middle of the page, right on the edge there, let's put 2 crosses. And what we're going to do is to do several cubes to embed the idea, and we're going to do them at different points. Try not to do them too small. So let's start with our vertical line here. It can be anywhere, the vertical line can be anywhere on this picture plane. And then we want to throw that line there, that line there, vertical line there, okay, point there, and that point there. So we've got our cube, our first cube. But let's put the second one much higher up, so we can see the underneath of it, and we start to understand the sort of flexibility of this process. Okay. So I'm going to put this one quite in the middle. So we'll actually probably see very little of 3D form. And what's quite interesting about this process is that you can play with depth of sort of field. You can play with putting certain things behind things. Because that line is in the middle of the road, we're not going to see above or below that. So let's sort of carry on. You can change the dimensions of these cubes, that maybe make this into a rectangle. So this is going to bump into this one here. It's going to go into there. So it sort of looks like we're creating a stacking box thing going on. Because we're quite close to this point, this is going to be really quite acute. Okay, so just keep doing this until you feel you've really embedded this sort of principle of two-point perspective. When we come on to the designing and draw sort of exercises, we can also sort of add tone to this, which really gives it a sense of three-dimensionality. Okay, so to sum up, we are trying to capture the illusion of three-dimensional forms on a two-dimensional plane using two-point perspective.